guys, I'm right here with Pee.Wee. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Pretty good, and you?
Good, good. Thank you for stopping by. And then tell me, bro, how's your life growing up?
It's been a roller coaster. It's been good, bad, just like everything else, But yeah, I was born in LA County. San Fernando Valley, Tarzana, to be exact. When I turned 1, my parents and my grandpa moved to Mexicali, Baja California, Mexico. They had their own little business or whatever going on. And yeah, it was just wallets. They sold wallets, they sold belts, bootleg CDs. Cassettes at first, and that's how it started coming out with the piracy or whatever. The piracy game in Mexico, because not a lot of people had internet, including us. Including us. Like, we didn't have internet. We didn't have phone lines in our what's it called? In our street. Oh, my bad for this. I'm normally doing,
No, you're good.
Yeah,
my bad. You're good.
Just
yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
All it is just juice.
All right, just yeah. But yeah, it was as a kid, it was pretty cool. It was just normal, whatever. I had my dad, I had my mom. I was kind of, my dad didn't let us go out, to play or whatever. Because we were in Mexico. I guess it's different, because he grew up. He was born out here and he grew up out. Over here. But yeah, it was just different. He didn't want us playing out. And plus, all the stuff he was getting himself involved, I guess. But I don't know. But yeah, he started at the cassettes, the piracy stuff. I remember seeing the big old rack all the time, with cassettes. Any kind of cassettes, English, Spanish, whatever. He sold it all. And slowly but surely it started coming up. It started coming up like good, and to the point where we were in Catholic school. In my third and fourth grade. Private Catholic school in the bougie side of the Mexicali, whatever. Like it was cool. That's the school I got suspended from, but it was cool.
What did you get suspended for?
It wasn't even something that big. I just called some food like egghead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the teacher would heard it. He was like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "You got an egg?" He's like, He got an egghead. And she's like, "Nah, you suspended for 3 days." I'm like, "What? Man, y'all really can't, y'all really on the, I don't know." But yeah, it was cool. It was cool. We got to wear ties and shit. I like wearing the ties, uniform or whatever, And I like the catechism at the time too. It was cool learning, learning new things and stuff. I've always been good at learning. I love learning. I guess from being since our dad didn't let us go out like that or whatever, we couldn't. I gotta embrace my loneliness and convert it into knowledge. It's what kept me, going and stuff. And that's another plus that we didn't have. What's it called? Internet phone lines in our what's it called? In our block. Because if not, I probably would have started watching YouTube when it first came out or whatever, or just I don't know, waste my time in things other than what's the operating system itself. The OS. We had a Windows 98.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. Since I didn't have internet, I looked through every option there was, every single option setting, me and my viaje or whatever, thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna find a way to get internet, some way, somehow through the computer or whatever, and I looked through every option or whatever, and I figured out what a command prompt is, the black screen with letters, like that comes on the hacker things or whatever, it's a command prompt. And but yeah, I took it from there. That's a big thing in my life. Computers and command prompts, and now it's Linux, but yeah. But no, other than that, it was cool. It was cool. My dad, did teach me a lot of the good things or whatever. Maybe other people might not see it as good, but to me, it was cool. When I was 6, he taught me how to take apart and put together the 380. A 380, I think it was a SIG. But yeah, it was interesting to learn. It was interesting to learn. He was into Muay Thai, things like that.
So you know how to fight?
Yeah, that fool's good. That fool's crazy. He gets down. He knows his shit.
He taught you a lot of Muay Thai?
I mean, not like that, like he taught me, but yeah, he taught me enough, you know what I mean? He taught me enough. You know, I didn't, yeah, I mean, I guess I'll get to that part later, I guess, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, yeah, because it's a lot.
So how old were you when you moved to Mexico? I mean, to LA.
To LA? No, I was born in LA and I moved to Mexicali.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, the other way around. Yeah, yeah, we went that way instead of coming this way. You know what I mean? Like it was just different. You know what I mean? But it was cool. I mean, cause that's where I learned how to speak Spanish like fluently, like not just regular Spanish. You know what I mean? Like that Spanish, like the Mexican Spanish. You know what I mean? Like it'll come out later. It'll come out later with, you know, with the Jews. You know? Yeah, but yeah.
What's up with the tattoos on your body?
My body? Well, most of them, I mean, all of them mean something, you know. I mean, you know, I mean, I know I don't have as much as the other fools and shit, you know what I mean, because a lot of fools just get blasted nowadays, you know what I mean, just try to scare people and stuff, you know what I mean, like get tattoos on their face before they even get one, like, on their chest or something, you know what I mean, like, they're all blasted from the face, on the, right here, but right here's naked or whatever, you know what I mean. But yeah, each one means something. Each one means something. I mean, I got 1/8. I mean, obviously, an 18, you know. I got 18 all over. You know.
How old were you when you joined 18?
18, I was 16. I was 16, but I was fucking up before that. Way before. I mean, not way before that, but, you know, well, you see how I'm talking about my pops and all that, you know what I mean? When I turned 11, we used to go back and forth, you know, from Texas to Mexicali, Arlington, Texas. And, you know, so I would get some education out here too, you know what I mean, speak English, I mean, like, right, I guess. I mean, I know sometimes I don't sound right, I mean, but, yeah, we'll go back and forth. When I turned 11, my mom took us to the park, you know. She took us to the park. She never took us to the park like that. She sat us on the bench and shit and tells me that, you know, that my dad had another, you know what I mean, had another family, you know what I mean. And at the time and shit, like, that shit was like, what the fuck? No, I don't got a dad type shit, you know what I mean? I don't got a dad and shit. You know, and I built a lot of like anger and shit, you know what I mean? I built a lot of anger and shit. But it still hadn't came out, you know what I mean? It still hadn't came out. I was 11 at that time. After that, from Texas, we didn't go back to Mexicali because, you know, there's a new hyena right there and whatever, you know what I mean? It's not our pad no more and shit, you know, so we went to Calexico, California. It's right across the border from Mexicali. It's a border town. You know, it's yeah, one's called Calexico, or, you know, Calexico like Cal, and then Exico like California, Mexico, and the other one's Meji, and then Cali. You know what I mean? Yeah, clever, I guess, you know. But yeah, that's when I was like 12, I think, 12, and I always had good grades, I guess, you know what I mean? I've always been a nerd, you know what I mean? I think I was meant to be a nerd, but then all this shit started happening and shit, and fucking, you know, I don't blame nobody and shit, just circumstances.
How'd you get involved, though?
How'd I get involved?
Yeah, with the gangs.
I mean, it's still, yes. Nah,
Was it homies? Or
nah, I mean, from 18th Street specifically, it was. I mean, I guess I got it more from my uncle. You know what I mean? From my uncle, because he's from the hood too.
Okay.
You know, he's from the hood too. You know, he's from LA or whatever. He's from the north side. You know, my clique's from out here, from Vegas. It's Little Criminals. You know, but yeah, I mean, I guess I would. It could have been with anybody, honestly. You know, at that age and shit, like people would say, like people's gonna say, like, nah, I would have been this no matter what or whatever. But nah, it's where you grow up, the place you grow up. If you grow up in this block, you're gonna be from that block. If you grow up from that block, you're gonna be from that block or whatever. You know what I mean? And I was just more closer to 18 than, you know what I mean, any other block or whatever. You know what I mean? And then we went from there. You know. You know, I got my nickname, I guess, you know, Pee.Wee and shit, because during those times and shit, there was a fucking... Man, I hated that name. I hated that name because it sounds weird. It sounds like Pee-Wee, like, it sounds like wee-wee, you know what I mean? Like that shit, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, or I don't know.
How'd you get that name?
Because you heard of the Cumbia Kings?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, that shit, like...
You like that song or
No, I don't, no, but every motherfucker will see me be like, oh, Pee-Wee, you know what I mean? And then fucking fools will be like, the homies will be like, oh, Pee-Wee, and like... Oh, that's people. Oh, that people. You know what I mean? They put to the. Cause I mean, they didn't listen to the Cumbia Kings and shit like that, but they were like, nah, yeah, you do look like that fool and shit. You know what I mean? And then it just stuck. It just stuck, and I was like, man, I don't like that name and shit. You know what the fuck? And I would get mad and shit. I would get mad at first and shit, like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? What the fuck? fucking, you know what I mean? Fucking end up getting beat up or some shit, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, I didn't win all the time and shit, right? But, yeah, I didn't like that name at first, so I had to make it big, you know what I mean? Like, now I love it, you know what I mean? Now I love it because it sounds like small, whatever. It's just like, you know what I mean? It sounds like whatever and shit, but, you know what I mean? At the same time, there's a lot, I mean, I don't even have to say, you know what I mean? Shit will say for herself and shit, like the fucking streets or whatever will tell, you know what I mean? Talk for themselves and say, you know, that's Pee-Wee shit or whatever the fucking shit, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like talking for myself, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't. I don't feel like it's necessary, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, shit speaks for itself, right?
So how many years you've been in the gang?
Since 16, about, I'm 31 now. I'm 15, 16? No, 15, yeah, 15.
Yeah, couple years
15,
now, huh?
yeah. I mean, but before that and shit, like, I was just like, I wasn't from a gang yet and shit, but I was involved in other shit and shit because I was stayed at a border town and shit, right?
Yeah.
You know, well, like I was saying and shit, that we moved from Texas to California and shit. You know, I was in a nerdy ass class and shit. And shit, I even got, man, when I got to fucking California, I said I was coming from Texas and shit. Tell me why I'm over here at the nerdy class, you know, because I did a proficiency test and shit, and I got to the nerdy class. This was like, I mean, the teacher's like, where you from? And I'm like, I'm from Texas. You know what I mean? And that was it, man. I had all the nerds, and even the nerds trying to, you know, bully a motherfucker. Like, what the fuck? Like, for real, they were making fun of me type shit too and shit. That shit's crazy. Like, I was the most bullied motherfucker there was and shit. You know, I was scary as fuck back then. You know what I mean? I was scary as fuck. Like, I was scary and shit because I didn't have nobody to fucking cry to and shit type of shit. Like, hey, daddy, or Ray, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, it was just my mom and shit. And she worked graveyard shift and at fucking, at a Walmart, they had just building collection. It's a 3 mile radius town or whatever. I mean, at the time, I guess it's bigger now. But there was a new Walmart, you know what I mean? And it was booming. So my mom's, you know, she started working there graveyard shit because it paid more. So she would be asleep like most of the day and shit, and then she'd be working and shit. I had a fucking, you know what I mean? My brother and sister, I got two little brothers and sisters. I got a little brother 4 years younger than me, and a little sister, she's 11 years younger than me and shit, you know. But they had a babysitter and shit. I didn't want to go with the babysitter, you know. I was already in my preteens and shit. I was going through puberty and shit, so it was like, I ain't trying to get watched by nobody and shit, but, you know, but yeah, I would fucking iron my clothes by myself and shit, fucking wash my shit, like, you know what I mean? Just do all that shit, you know what I mean? I had to, you know what I mean? 'Cause I got no other choice and shit, right? But yeah, one day and shit, like I was just, I mean, I would ride my bike to school. I had a blue mongoose, right? And I put some rims on it. You know, I got it from my homeboy. I mean, I wasn't thugged out and shit. I wasn't like that, you know what I mean? At first, I wasn't like that. You know, my tia had got me some Cortezes and shit, and I had a blue bike with some fucking nice rims and shit, you know what I mean? And one day I'm going home from school and shit, and some fools hit me up, you know what I mean? They're like, F-Way, where you from? You know? And, you know, from saying Texas at first and shit, I was like, nah, I can't say Texas no more. I'm from Mexicali. This fool was like, what? You know, I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? And they started coming towards me and shit, man. I got on my bike so fast and shit, and fucking took off like shit. Like, I never been that scared in my life and shit, dog. Like, that shit was fucking scary as fuck and shit. Like, I was like, what the fuck? These fools wanna kill me and shit. All I said was Mexicali and shit. Like, I was like, what the fuck? And I mean, later on, I found out that they I guess those two cities or whatever the shit, or the little whatever the fucking shit, they beef it and shit, right? Because they call Mexicali Chicali. Chicali and Calexico is Calesia. You know, they're Chicali 13 and there's Calesia 13 or whatever the fucking shit. And those fools were from Calesia and shit. They were like, fuck, I was like 13 or 12 going on 13 and shit. These fools already like fucking 18, 19 type shit, 20 and shit. They already fucking drinking and shit. I'm like, there's a grown ass man coming after me and shit. So I took off, dog. I took off. And for the longest, I avoided that fucking little corner, dog. Like, I avoided it. Because I was scared and shit. I didn't want to fucking, I was so scared. Like, I never got hit type shit. I didn't know what it felt like and shit. And, you know, one day my mom fucking tells me that she's talking to some dude and shit, right? That she's talking to some dude, and then I'm going to have a stepdad and woo and shit. And it fucking just slipped my mind and shit, dog. I was like, I didn't take my bike that day and shit, so I was walking and shit. And my dumbass, okay, so my school was on 7th Street and shit, and fucking Encinas, I think. It must have been a minute. Encinas. I would go the opposite way. I stayed on 3rd Street. On 3rd Street, 3 blocks away from the fucking fence, you know, that separated Mexico and the United States and shit. And, well, yeah, I had 5 blocks to go. and then 2 blocks this way and shit to go and shit. So instead of going that way, I would always go like backwards and shit and fucking go around all this shit. You know what I mean? Like even if it was a longer walk, dog, like I was so fucking scary. Like it's not even funny, dog. And shit, but yeah, that day she told me that she was gonna. I mean, we were all gonna have a stepdad and shit. I just became the man of the house, and then all of a sudden, oh, this was gonna come through and shit. Like that shit just fucking got me mad and shit. You know what I mean? I was angry and shit. I got more angry at my dad. I got more angry at everything in life and shit. So I forgot, and I fucking went the normal way and shit, right? By the time I got to 6th Street and shit, right? I'm over here walking, just thinking and shit, like. But then I felt somebody behind me and shit, right? I felt somebody fucking like creeping and shit, right? And fucking, as soon as I turned around, I fucking got hit in the mouth and shit, like, pah. And I was like, man, I felt so fucking happy. I felt so fucking happy and shit. I felt like never before and shit, man. And that shit just fucked me up in the head type shit too and shit because it didn't hurt. You know what I mean? It didn't fucking hurt and shit. Either they didn't hurt me or they hit like bitches and shit or whatever the fuck. But regardless, I was like thrilled that it didn't hurt to the point I was like laughing. I was like ecstatic and shit, like you know what I mean, like. And I think that shit actually confused me too and shit. Like I confused like what was pain and shit and happiness and shit. You know what I mean? Because that shit was not. I mean, I started embracing more pain and shit. But yeah, this fool hit me in the mouth and shit. And I hit him like my dad taught me and shit. I hit him in the mouth and I fucking knocked him. I didn't knock him out like you know what I mean, like a knockout like shit. But I knocked him down and shit, right? I knocked that fool down and shit and fucking. The other fool fucking hit me, and I felt even better, dog, because that fool hit like a bitch, too, and shit, you know what I mean? They were grown-ass men and shit. I was like fucking 13. I was small, dog, you know what I mean? And these fools fucking, you know what I mean? I was like, man, that shit is shit and shit. And then I hit him in the fucking, I think in the chest and shit. And the fool like, and then the other fool, like, he was getting up and shit. He was getting up, and he fucking tackled me, and they both stopped me out after that, you know what I mean? They stopped me out, you know, and I fucking... And I remember them like kicking me and shit. They were like fucking stomping on me and shit type shit. Like trying to stomp on the back of my head and shit. I felt that fool's fucking shoe go like that, all kinds of shit. But I was like, and I kept hearing them like stop crying or whatever. Like you know what I mean? Like, but I wasn't crying, dog. Like I was laughing and shit. You know what I mean? That shit fucking confused me, dog. It fucking confused me like a lot. And shit. After that, it was a rap and shit. Like all them fucking fools that were bullying, like that were fucking all them nerds and shit that were bullying me, man. Fucking throw down with them and during lunch, all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? I started throwing down every fucking day, every week and shit. You know what I mean? To the point I felt like it gave me a purpose and shit. Like violence gave me a purpose and shit. Like I felt like I had a purpose in life. I didn't feel like I had a purpose in life before that. I felt like I was just in the world like just because and shit. You know what I mean? And that shit just, you know what I mean? Everything started changing and shit, you know what I mean? Everything started changing and shit. People were nice now. The highness too, the highness and shit back in the day and shit, whatever, like, they were like, hey, you know, type shit. And I was like, I wasn't used to all that shit, you know what I mean? I wasn't used to all that shit. And I was like, it's the fighting and shit, you know what I mean? And every time I took it up a notch more and shit, like I hit that fool, like I broke that fool's nose or I fucking knocked that fool out and shit, you know what I mean? Or whatever the fuck, every time it got better and better and better and better and better and better and shit. And to the point of, like, I guess I kind of went far and shit, you know what I mean? Before I was even from 18 or whatever, you know what I mean? Before I was even from 18 and shit, which is even fucking worse because I guess when you take it far and shit and you're in the gang and shit, you know what I mean? You get props from people and shit, you know what I mean? You get like, they tell you, hey, it's cool, you know what I mean? It's normal and shit if you feel this way or that way or whatever the fuck and shit, you know what I mean? Like, it's normal, like, you get some sort of what's it called? Comfort and shit, you know what I mean? I didn't get none of that shit, you know what I mean? So I fucking caught, like, I went from, you know, fighting or whatever the fuck and shit, and I started like having friends now and shit like that were from Mexicali too and shit, and we were like gang members, I guess, you know what I mean, too and shit, whatever the fuck, and this, one of my homeboys or whatever the fuck, he had came up on a fucking little 32 and shit, you know what I mean, a little 32 fucking, snow nose type shit. I don't even know, that shit looked like from fucking the Revolutionary, like, for real, dog, that shit fucking, I'm surprised that shit popped. But yeah, man, I didn't smoke nobody with it and shit, right? I just smoked, I hit one of them fools though. I hit one of them fools that fucking jumped me and right in the ass cheek too and shit. I was on my pegs on my bike and shit, you know what I mean? The little, this fool was like short, his name was not short and shit. The fool was short, he was just riding. You know, I'm the one that fucking, you know what I mean? I'm the one that fucking hit that fool in the ass and shit, whatever, but yeah. I know I hit him in the ass because this fool, like, this fool started taking, like, he only had 5 shots and shit. I went, bah! And this fool, like, as they were running, this fool said, like he grabbed his like back or ass cheek and shit, and then he kind of flew like this in the air, like you know what I mean? Like I was like, I got your ass, you know. And that was one, and the other four and shit. The other four, that's when I took it too far and shit. You know what I mean? That's when it wasn't even with like it wasn't it wasn't even with the thing and shit. It was just just the way they did me and shit. You know what I mean? That fool fucking kept on from behind and shit and let me have it type shit. I just happened to see his ass walking to and shit inside the fucking in one of those alleys and shit. I don't want to say which one type shit, right? But I got fucking crept up on his ass too and shit. And I fucking took off on him like and fucking. And that time I did knock him out cold and shit type shit. But my dumbass kept on going and going and going and going and going and going and shit to the point like I can't get that motherfucker's like fucking like his fucking face on my head type shit. You know what I mean? Sometimes it just comes and shit. It comes. Fucking. I mean I don't know. I can't say whether. No, I mean I don't know what happened and shit because I just fucking took off and I got scared again and shit like what the fuck. Like you got brothers?
I do.
Okay, you ever heard like your brother like a little too hard and shit, and you don't want your mom to hear like that feeling like shut up. That's what it felt like kind of you know what I mean like I'm like hey fool like what the fuck like wake up and shit because I blacked out and shit. You know what I mean? I was just fucking letting him have it and shit like. I was letting him have it to the point it looked like he came out from a scary movie and shit, dog. Like that shit was like I can't get that motherfucker's fucking head out of my mind and shit, dog. That shit fucked me up and shit, and I know it's gonna fuck me up still even more and shit someday type shit, right? But yeah, that fool was like, I mean, I didn't choose it. I mean, this fool got me sleeping and shit, you know what I mean? I didn't have no guidance and shit at the time and shit, you know what I mean? I didn't have no fucking guidance and shit. Not even older homies to tell me, like, I was just the last fucking kid and shit but it feels like from there and shit, I summoned the fucking devil or some shit because, since my mom worked, she worked and shit, worked or whatever. She was a single mom or whatever and shit. And I didn't want to stepdad and shit. So I was like, man, I gotta fucking bring some bread and shit, you know what I mean? So she don't have to depend on nobody and shit, you know what I mean? And there is some people in I stayed on 3rd Street, right? Well, not 3rd Street itself, but the alley between 3rd and 2nd and shit. It's like a little dirt road and shit, but there's houses and shit in there too and shit, whatever. It's considered 3rd Street. I don't know for some dumb reason and shit, man. That fool's the only, I don't know, fucking Calexico. But yeah, fucking the people in the front, I guess my mama told me herself and shit. She was like, no, they be getting like immigrants and shit. You know what I mean? Like they be getting like pollos and shit, whatever. And I was like, pollos. And like yeah, fucking immigrants and shit. Like I was, because she was born in Culiacan and shit. She came over here. She's naturalized now and shit, whatever. But yeah, she's like, yeah, they be getting immigrants and shit. Like La señora enfrente be getting immigrants. I mean, she speaks English too, but she said in Spanish that time. My bad. But yeah, so I got an idea and shit, right? I got a fucking idea, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pick up a few people and shit, you know what I mean? I'm gonna shoot her some bread. And I did it like a few times and shit, and not about like 8 times and shit. It was before I caught that fool slipping, right? Like it's crazy shit, how shit happens, right? It was before that, a little bit before that, in between that. And I guess, the pollos wasn't their only fucking thing and shit, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, like, houses out there, pads, I mean, if it's 3 blocks away from the border and shit, it's gonna be used for a lot of things and shit, right? And after that shit happened with that fucking dumbass and shit that fucking got me slipping and shit, like, he fucking, there was some fool there and shit, like, I seen that one, like, that's the first time I ever seen him and shit, right? And this fool fucking told me, like, out of nowhere and shit, I'm just right there, you know what I mean, trying to go on a little mission and shit, get a little feria or whatever. And shit, he's like, hey, like, I see something in your eyes, fool, like, you know what I mean? I mean, I can't say, I ain't gonna say that fool's name, right? I guess fucking, it's kind of like the devil or some shit, you know what I mean? That fool's like the devil or some shit, dog. Like that fool, he asked me what, no, he didn't ask me nothing. He told me, I see something in your eyes. I see you got one of, tienes un pinche muerto en los ojos, morro, you know what I mean? Like that. And shit, I'm like, what the fuck? And I was trying to keep it a secret. Like, I didn't want to tell nobody. Like, I didn't want to get in trouble and shit. I know that was a big deal and shit, right? And this fool's like he knew and shit. Like, how the fuck does this fool know and shit? And he said from my eyes and shit. You know what I mean? Like the eyes tell him and shit, whatever the fuck and shit, right? And then he started giving me more like clecha and shit, like more comfort and shit. You know what I mean? Or whatever the fuck and shit. about that specific shit, you know what I mean? About, like death and shit like that or whatever the fuck. Like, that fool started getting me more cliche about it and shit. You know, that's when I started getting high and shit or whatever. Before weed and shit or whatever the fuck, I started doing, yeah, yo. I don't know if I don't want to say that too loud, you know what I mean? But I started doing more of this shit or whatever the fuck. And now that I'm older and shit, I don't think it was that either and shit. I think it was some, the other shit and shit. And I was like, it just desensitized me more during the time and shit. And I mean, I needed to be and shit, you know what I mean? I needed to be because that fool sent me on a few missions and shit, on this side and that side and shit, you know what I mean? I can't say like much more than that because it would be like unethical and shit, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be like pro and shit type shit, like that I would be fucking up big time and shit. But like that fool had me going on missions like a few times and shit. Like, I went on missions like a few times and shit, you know what I mean? Like, and some more big missions, like, I was like, fuck, I'm even surprised, like, fuck, I guess I can say one. Well, not that much, but this one time and shit, I had to go not pick up and shit, but I had to go kind of get somebody and shit, right? Like in Mexicali or whatever, like in downtown or whatever the fuck, like, I guess since I was young and shit, I could get, like, I could kind of get close to people and shit, right? And fucking, damn, I saying too much? Okay, alright. So I do what I gotta do and shit. I bounce and shit, and I'm taking off and shit, and that fool was kind of like, how to explain it? Like, oink oink type shit, you know what I mean? And that fool was an asshole though, from what I heard and shit. He was an asshole and shit, right? And to the point he even had the hind, because there's a lot of like hotels right there and shit in that area and shit. And there'd be a lot of like hyenas working right there and shit, whatever, you know what I mean? Like in the hotels and shit, whatever. And they're the ones that hit me type shit, dog. Like, they saved me and shit. You know what I mean? I got a lot of respect for any kind of hustle type shit. You know what I mean? Any type of hustle and shit. I can't judge nobody because, you know what I mean? I feel like I done worse and shit, you know what I mean? But yeah, dog, they hit me and shit. I thought I was gonna die that day and shit because I know what I'm getting into and shit. You know what I mean? I was like 14 at the time and shit, but I know what I was getting into and shit. And then yeah, from there, fucking, I got a lot of respect from the hyenas, and then fucking, I don't know how the fuck I got away. They hit me under some chairs, dog. They hit me under some chairs. I didn't have no fucking bullets no more and shit like that and shit. You know what I mean? They would give me like fucking revolvers because I wouldn't drop nothing and shit, right? And fucking, a lot of people say now they give you a big ass thing and shit. And I'm like, that's not true. I mean, that some fools doing shit, right? Depends on who you're working with and type shit. You know what I mean? But not all the time and shit. And they don't got bougie shit. Sometimes you can't get the fucking whole vest type shit. Sometimes they just give you a strap. That's it. You know what I mean? That's it. And well, yeah, they just gave me a strap that one time and shit. So, with fucking 6 shots and shit, what the fuck am I gonna do if they're fucking calling up backup and shit like that, right? And I didn't think I was gonna make it alive and shit. But when Hannah was like, hey, muchacho, cale pa acá and shit, you know what I mean? I'm like, I didn't know what else to do and shit. I went over there and shit, and they fucking hit me under some chairs and shit for a minute and shit until the fool fucking left and shit. But yeah, fool fucking well, yeah, after that, I know after I fucking started feeling like shit, same shit was gonna happen to me and shit, you know what I mean? And I guess these fools might feel some type of way if I leave and shit type shit too, right? Because of whatever the fuck and shit. Fucking, I wanted to go. Man, I was trying to get to Texas back to Texas and shit as fast as possible and shit, whatever the fuck. But my jefa didn't want to go back to Texas because she was gonna come out here and shit with her new dude and shit, which is my stepdad now today in this current day or whatever the fuck, right? And that's the reason. That's how we ended up over here, right? I guess. But yeah, when I turned 15, I finally got to Texas and shit. You know what I mean? I finally got to Texas. I tried to stay straight out there and shit, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? But slowly but surely, I couldn't help it and shit, you know what I mean? Like I said, that fucking violence, like once it gets a taste of violence and shit, that shit like a chronic disease and shit, you know what I mean? It's like a chronic disease. You can't fucking, or the crazy life, I guess, la vida loca and shit. Like you can't fucking just change it. You know what I mean? You can't cure it. You can treat it, but you can't cure it type shit. Cause that shit's exciting sometimes. It's thrilling and shit. You know what I mean? And like I said, that shit confuses motherfuckers and shit. We get shit twisted and shit, and end up in the wrecks ourselves and shit. You know what I mean? And fucking I caught on to all that shit. Oh yeah, during those missions too and shit. These fools like, since I did the computer thing and shit, them fools like, kind of showed me some other shit, you know what I mean? And showed me more on Linux and shit, because, I mean, sometimes we gotta fucking, like, say you gotta go on a mission and shit, you gotta do your intel and shit, all that shit, you know what I mean? You gotta know what you, because say you're gonna go get something that belongs to somebody and shit, you know what I mean? Or they don't have that shit, what the fuck you gonna do and shit type shit, you know what I mean? You, like, you're not gonna catch it, my bad.
Oh, you're good.
You're not gonna just get life and shit for fucking shit. I don't know, like fucking 1,000. No, not 10, like 10,000 and shit. You're not gonna fucking just get life in prison and shit just for 10,000 and shit, right? So I would like they would train, like they would teach us how to get our intel first and shit before whatever the fucking shit. So I started getting more into the hacking part and shit right there on Linux and shit. And fucking but yeah, back at 16 and shit. Back at 15, I was straight for a year till I turned 16 when I got to the hood. You know what I mean? Fucking I was trying to do good and shit. My last day of my freshman year and shit, some fool fucking shit right before I got his ass right. And not like that, but you know I just hit him in the mouth right. But before that, I asked him to box me and shit. He didn't want to box me and shit. And he kept on looking that way, you know what I mean? Just looking that way, like some type of way type shit. I guess that's why I feel like kind of like, oh, do I look some type of way and shit? Cause of fools like that and shit, you know what I mean? This fool dressing all banged down and shit. I fucking walk up to him on my last school year and shit, and I tell him like, fool, box me. He's like, nah, box me, nah, box me. Like I gotta ask 3 times and shit, cause it's just a little thing I got in my head. And he's fooling fucking. He said, nah, the 3rd time and shit. I positioned myself and, you know, I hit him in the mouth. And he said, ah, you know, and he, I don't know, he looked weird and shit, and I just walked away. I was like, man, you little bitch and shit, you know what I mean? I walk away and shit. I'm gonna change man. I know it sounds crazy and shit, but I'm gonna change man, dog. Fuck it, yeah, no, yeah, I learned, yeah, I'll get to that part, I guess. But yeah, this was like fucking crying and shit. And then all of a sudden I hear the laws, because in Texas they call them the laws and shit, you know what I mean, the pigs and shit, whatever. No, the laws and shit, and I started running and shit. I ran to the other side of the school and shit, and fucking they called me from my classroom and shit, whatever. Like, hey, your AP says she wanted you right now, over there, right now, type shit. She didn't even send somebody to get your ass. She really wants your ass. What you do? I'm like, nothing. You know what I mean? And she like, now we'll go get your ass over there. When I get to the fucking AP's office and shit, there was 2 pigs right there. Talking about like, I was gonna get a ticket and shit. You know what I mean? For assault and shit. That was my first little charge or whatever the fucking shit. You know, like, I was like, what the fuck? Are you shitting me? This fool, look how he looks. I'm like, look how the fuck he looks, and look how like, what the fuck is shit? I guess I built some anger towards all that shit, you know what I mean? Because I had some fucking Cortezes on when the 2 fools jumped me and shit. But I didn't know they were like gang banging issues or whatever the fuck. My dad had bought them for me and shit. You know, I didn't know about that shit. You know what I mean? I didn't. The fool asked me where I'm from. I'm thinking they're talking about like location and shit. I'm like, well, from this city and shit. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know if it was fucking gangs and shit. So I guess I feel some type of way when I see that shit. And it's not that. You know what I mean? It's not that and shit. And well, yeah. Long story short, I got a ticket and shit. And I was like, man, fuck it. I'm just gonna keep on fucking up and shit anyways and shit. And my uncle was just getting out the joint and shit, whatever the fuck. Like from Texas, he shot an enemy and shit. Hit him in the fucking in the fucking. They were on some fucking bitch shit type shit, right? Like, if you're in the gang, right, you're not supposed to call the cops, right? I mean, they don't like you to begin with because you're a gang member. You're the opposite as them and shit, whatever the fucking shit. And then fools did some weird shit. One of the homies had fucking hit him in the legs, you know what I mean? For doing some weirdo shit, like some weirdo shit, like like those PC, like the drum shit type shit. Like you got him in the fucking legs and shit, you know what I mean? At a family reunion and shit, the homies was like fucking crazy and shit, right? And he was from a different gang, right? They were supposed to handle that fool, cause that's some weird shit. Nobody's gonna be okay with that shit ever, you know what I mean? Not in the criminal world type shit, you know what I mean? Not in any world type shit, you know what I mean? That shit's not right, this shit, you know what I mean? And fucking well, yeah, this fool didn't take care of it. One night my uncle's, I get drunk and high and all that shit and shit. Like, hey, them fools handle that shit? It's like, nah. No, the homie's like, nah. Like, what the fuck you mean, nah? And then they pull up and shit, I'm like, hey, we're drunk, gonna take care of that shit. And they're like, no, I'm like, man, I'm the one with the fucking gun. Bah, bah. You know, the fool said he could have sworn he hit everybody and shit. But he only hit one in the arm. Right? But no, that fucking hit him in the arm with a 357 and shit. That shit went out his arm and shit, almost hit him in the heart. So, you know what I mean? He almost got attempted murder and shit. I don't remember how much time, but it was some time type shit in Texas. Shit. And plus, he was illegal. He was an illegal immigrant. He got deported from out there and shit. You know, I went on summer and shit and fucking seen him in Mexico or whatever. Back in Mexicali, he went to Mexicali because our family's out there and shit. But yeah, that's when I guess I started embracing the more and shit. And you know, one day I fucking started tattooing myself and shit. After I went over there, I learned how to tattoo and shit. Cause this was we're getting now, him and another homie from Duarte and shit, like from LA and shit. I mean, cause we're all Sureños at the end of the day or whatever the fuck. But yeah, when we get out there, it's a whole different ball game and shit. The culture shock shit, you know, they don't like it. They kind of don't like. I mean, they not all of them, right? I'm not gonna generalize neither and shit, but they don't like us a lot of Mexico, like in Mexico and shit. Like you seen Selena? Mm-hmm. You know how that fool Edward James almost telling Selena like, hey, you gotta be more Mexican than the Mexicans, all that shit, whatever the fucking shit, or more American than the Americans. They don't like your ass over here, over there. Say that shit's real. You know, I went out there and as an adult, I mean, I stayed out there as a kid, but you don't feel shit as a kid, you know what I mean? Everybody's all innocent, but as an adult, damn, man, I felt the hate coming out the pores, like, fool, like, what the fuck I do to you type shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm brown too, dog, like, what the fuck? But yeah, dog, I started feeling the hate. Damn. I started feeling the hate, right? No, I wasn't getting to that part yet. I was barely 16 at that part, my bad. But yeah, fucking, well, I embraced the hood more right there and shit. I started tattooing and shit. Then from there, I started kicking it with homies and shit. It was right there in Texas and shit. The 18 was out there too and shit. But they had a clique right there, SSL, whatever the fuck, Southside Locals, I guess. 18th Street Southside Locals or whatever and shit. And, but I was from my uncle's clique. He's from the north side or whatever the fuck. And it's north side of LA. So, you know, I guess I got kind of like, I don't know, blessed in it, but I didn't like that shit. You know what I mean? I didn't like that shit because I told him to call him, and I told him for him and another homie and shit, two other homies and shit to come join me, like the righteous way and shit, right? But he's like, nah, if anything, you'll just my name and shit. I was like, what the fuck you mean? You know what I mean? Like that don't sound right and shit. You know what the fuck? And shit, and nah, for a minute it didn't feel right, dog. That shit didn't feel right and shit. You know, I was in Texas and shit. I was staying with my grandma, whatever, my aunt. You know, before I came out here, I started getting into the dope game out there and shit when I turned 18 because I was good at tests and all that shit, but I didn't turn in my classwork, homework, and none of that shit, you know. I didn't turn in my classwork. I didn't even dress up for PE, so I was failing PE, dog. You know what I mean? So fucking, but I wanted to go to college, you know what I mean? I know I could make in college and shit. Plus, I was taking BCIS, advanced BCIS. I started at keyboarding and shit. I already know how to keyboard and shit. I got good grades right there. I got Microsoft Office certified at my sophomore year and shit. You know, I'm on webmastering too and shit. Webmastering and fucking, what else? I took international business, virtual business. You know, I love the shit out of all those classes and shit. I think that's what started me more into fucking the dope game and shit, you know what I mean? Because I felt like I was like smart enough to like handle it and shit, you know what I mean? Because I calculate everything like good and shit type shit, like how much I was gonna make if I made like just a lot of little fucking calculations. And my dumb ass, my first time and shit, fucking getting my first little issue and shit from the homie and shit, because I was like, man, I'm not gonna be able to go to college and my job's not cutting it. I work at a gas station and shit, $200 a week type shit. Like what the fuck? I ain't gonna make it to college and shit. And I hit up to one of the homies and shit. Oh, the same homie that hit that fool and shit. I was like, and because he was a known hustler type shit, you know what I mean? He's a known hustler with the neighborhood or whatever the fuck is shit. And then I asked him for like, hey, fool, you got a job for me? He's like, what you trying to do and shit? I'm like, trying to serve and shit, like, you know what I mean? Because at the gas station I worked at, we sold pipes. So it was like, it just came in.
People always ask you?
Yeah, no, they wouldn't ask me at first, and then till like they started seeing it in my head, like I know what's up type shit. Yeah. I know what's up. Because this fool, when I told him, no, it's good, we sold the pipes right there and shit. He's like, oh no, yeah, dog, you could be like, you need something else with that and shit. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, and I started doing just that and shit. I'm like, hey, you need something else with that and shit. He's like, they're like, why? What's up? What are you talking about? This shit's for incense or whatever the fuck. I'm like, man, like. You need something else with that? Yes or no? Shit, motherfucker, because I got that fire, shit, like shit. You know what I mean? I started, you know what I mean, building clientele and shit from there and shit. Oh, and another huge thing too and shit. And that gas station, you know, gambling is legal in Texas, right? They have lottery. You know what I mean? They have lottery and shit. You know, I paid from just from the clutch I had and shit or whatever the fuck, like off those machines and shit. So we had machines right there, and they would pay cash. All the tickets would go to the fucking machines all the time and shit. You know what I mean? So it just, I don't know, when I came to Vegas and shit, after, after I said, man, I'm fucking up too much, okay? I seen all the fucking machines out here, dog. And I was like, cha-ching, cha-ching. I mean, not because for me playing the machines and shit, whatever, but I know there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be potentially fucking with it type shit, you know what I mean? And yeah, it was true and shit type shit, right? Fucking, well, yeah, I had, my first issue was like about $50 to 16 and shit. Within 3 months and shit, I already had like a P, like I could get a P runner type shit, you know what I mean? For 14 G's and shit type shit, you know what I mean? So, I mean, to me, that's a big ass achievement, you know what I mean? People don't see that shit as achievements and shit, but that shit's a big ass achievement to me and shit, cause ain't nobody gonna show love to you like that and shit, on the credit type shit, you know what I mean? That you're good for it, or that you can get it out type shit, you know what I mean? That they're not gonna do that shit, and fucking, yeah, I ended up doing that, but the first issue I got, my dumbass fucking snorted some shit too and shit. Like I was like I was curious about it. Nobody told me they put that right there or whatever. Put that right there. Put that, that shit's not wrong. But yeah, fool, fucking I fucking snorted it, and fucking I was doing math calculations all fucking night and shit. And then I was kind of like, I was healthy and shit during the time. That's when I started working out, I started working out when Jersey Shore came out, you know what I mean? You remember Jersey Shore? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I started working at Gym Time Laundry. That's when I started working out, though. And so I was kind of healthy and shit, right? And fucking that one weekend and shit that I fucked up and shit, I seen myself on Monday to go to school. I was like a fucking zombie, man. I wanted to cry, like shit, you know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck? I'm fucking stupid. And I didn't fuck with it ever again type shit at the moment, I guess, Cause later on and shit, I got introduced to like another way or whatever. What I mean? I don't want to say, what I mean? My bad. But fucking, yeah, to the point I wasn't even fucking focused on the grind part. You know what I mean? Cause when you consume and you sell and shit, it's not good. Not I mean, in my case, not because I'm gonna fuck up my re-up or whatever. You know what I mean? It's more on I'm gonna start doing this other extra shit, you know what I mean? Like fucking fronting the people that can't pay me and shit, because I know they got something cool and shit that I mean? That it's not stealing and shit, but I'm taxing them or whatever, you know what I mean? I would just make it right in my head type shit, supposedly, and shit. Or fucking just doing stupid, like unnecessary shit versus just fucking business, you know what I mean? Like, my dumb ass was doing the most. And shit, so I was like, man, you know what, I'm fucking up out here and shit, man. I gotta go somewhere else and shit, new beginning and shit. And that's when Vegas came in and shit, when I turned 18, type shit, you know what I mean? And yeah, I was already an adult and shit, but like I said, I embraced, like, I call Vegas my home and shit type shit, you know what I mean? Like, I got adapted to Vegas so fucking quick, you know what I mean? Like,
in 3 weeks. You definitely call Vegas your home?
Yeah, everybody outside, like, even outside Vegas and shit, like in Mexicali too, because when I come back and forth and shit, I got even more deep in shit, you know what I mean? Everybody, and homies too and shit, Sureños and shit in Cali, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Or anywhere and shit. Everybody knows Pee.Wee from Vegas and shit, from 18 from Vegas and shit, you know what I mean? And I even put it on my placazo too, like West Side LV 18, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not trying to put it like flash it and shit or whatever the fuck, but it's what it is and shit, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of fools that do come from out there and shit. I mean, not just from the hood, from a different hoods and shit, you know what I mean? Like, why are they out here to begin with and shit, And the ones that come up with their fucking, like, their chest most pumped, trying to fucking do politics and all that shit, sometimes are the ones that aren't all good type shit, you know what I mean? Like the ones that be talking the most are the ones that you gotta watch out for and shit, you know what I mean? Sometimes the shit, they start trying to, start their barrios out here and shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, trying to do the most and shit instead of just fucking laying low and shit, like they're like the fucking rats they are type shit, because a lot of them fools are no good and shit. They come out here trying to stir up the pot and shit, you know what I mean? And I got a few songs about that shit, right? But cause if they think coming out here, you know what I mean? Yeah, I gotta lay on my chest and shit. I love LA and shit, you know what I mean? That's back home and shit, whatever the fuck. But I mean, I got most of my clecha comes from out there and shit. The way I am and shit comes from out there and shit, right? Or whatever the fuck too. But I don't like that shit, you know what I mean? I don't like fools coming over here and trying to press fools and shit, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like that shit, you know what I mean? And plus, I changed my residency. As soon as I came over here and I found the hood out here, I was like, I'm gonna get jumped in for sure now and shit. And can't nobody fucking interfere with that shit. My uncle ain't from over here, so he ain't got no say and shit, that shit. You know what I mean? I mean, he does, but it's shit. It's just fucking, it's just only right. You know what I mean? If I'm over here, say, I mean, I never wrote on walls personally and shit. I didn't like that shit. I don't know. To me, that was always been dumb type shit. You know what I mean? Because it's like we're just getting caught up for no reason type shit. You know what I mean? I mean, unless it's slicing somebody and shit, like that's a hood that I really don't like and shit, then yeah, by all means and shit. You know what I mean? Just and right there. But I'm gonna go straight and shit type shit, like shh, whatever, and stay right there for a minute and shit, whatever the fucking shit, just in case the fools pop out or shit, whatever. You know what I mean? Because it's like that. It's like that. You know what I mean? Right now, or whatever the fuck and shit, and But yeah, okay. Well, it's just that's an example. Say somebody from a different, from the same hood or whatever the fuck comes from somewhere else and shit. They're over here writing on a wall. You know what I mean? Putting the neighborhood, whatever the fuck and shit. I mean, who's it gonna fall on and shit? You know what I mean? The local people and shit. The local gangsters or the local hoods or whatever. You know what I mean? Even though it's transnational or whatever, you know what I mean? It's gonna fall on the local people. So it's only right and shit. I changed my residency or whatever the fuck shit. You know what I mean? I got jumped out here and shit, whatever the fuck and shit. It's only right. I love it till the day. I love it. You know what I mean? I mean, I know it's not right and shit. We tell each other, like we always tell and shit. We always tell each other and shit, like before, you know, you're gonna come in or whatever, or that you earn that shit. You know you about to fuck up your life, right? You know, we make sure they're aware, and everybody says, yeah, you know, like you know.
Now, are you still active?
I always have to be in shit. You know what I mean? I don't. I mean, that's a fucking. It's a long ass definition. I guess that's a long ass definition and shit. Cause I can't be like. I mean, as active as in me fucking hitting some fool up I see in the street or whatever. I don't hit fools up no more and shit. You know what I mean? Cause I did my time and shit, whatever too and shit. I mean, it wasn't in Cali still. I did my time in Mexico and shit, Mexicali. When I turned 20. When I turned 20, I got caught with 60 bricks and shit of tree. I mean, it was just tree and shit. That time and shit, cause we just had to take care of that shit. But I think the fool that was on top of us fucking told us and shit, cause they had got some other fool. The one that was all the way on top, they got that fool in fucking Poland.
How long did you do?
3.5. They gave me 5. The minimum out there is 5. It's 5 years for if you pass 5 kilos in fucking in tree, it's 5 years, man, though, type shit, for your first time. If it's over 40 grams of white, yellow, or fucking or chivo, you know what I mean, all that shit. It's 5 years too and shit. You know, 40 grams. And if it's a one pingas out there, they're pills. They got like bars, like not bars, but they got clonazepam. They got different pills out there or whatever. And they give 4 years for just one, dog. Like, say there's fools like robbing in the streets or whatever the fucking shit, and the whole fucking block's mad at this fool. Like, man, we gotta get this motherfucker out. They'll call the cops and be like, hey, we need this motherfucker out, and pay the cops a little fatty and shit. And fucking, all they got to do is pinga they got from throughout the day and shit, put it on that fool, boom, throw his ass in jail. 4 years, he's gone. He's gone. You know what I mean? They like that. They're like that. They don't give a fuck about people's life out there. Right there, like the Mexico and shit. As an adult, was fucking degrading and shit. Like, I mean, going as a criminal and shit. You know what I mean? As a criminal, that shit was degrading as fuck. That shit was the most degrading as a human being and shit experience I had and shit in my life. You know what I mean? Which is cool and shit. You know what I mean? I know I fucked. I mean, I actually deserve way more than that. You know what I mean? That was just. I mean, that's why I'm thankful for it. You know what I mean? People when I talk about it, people like my mom and shit. Oh, you're proud of that shit. You act like you're proud of it. I'm like, I'm not proud of it. I'm thankful for it and shit. You know what I mean? Because that shit. After I went to the joint and shit, I mean, it was kind of different and shit. I was on lockdown 24/7 and shit in a 6-man cell with 30 motherfuckers in there. You know what I mean? Like there's 8 bunks, but you can get attachments and shit. That's full sleeping on the floor like sardines and shit. You know what I mean? But thank God, right? Thank God. Thank God. I always had the penthouse suite in the cell and shit. You know what I mean? With the little fan and next to the cooler and shit. You know what I mean? Thank God, right? Fucking
Stay nice and cool, huh?
Yeah, dog. Cause Mexicali's heat is just like Vegas and shit. I guess that's why I'm good at working outside and shit. You know what I mean? Cause I'm used to the heat. Matter of fact, at 90 degrees, I'm freezing, though. You know what I mean? Like I'm freezing and shit. But yeah. They get in the triple digits. Others in Celsius and shit, so it's like 56 Celsius.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I did. It was degrading as a human when I first got to. So first off, I was waking up and shit. I went to the fucking Oxxo, the XO, whatever the fuck, to go get some peanuts and shit. Cause You know what I mean? Because I was hungry and shit. I woke up, I was just waking up and shit. And I don't know, I used to like the protein and I guess, no whatever the fuck and shit. And when I got to the pad and shit, they were already behind me and shit, talking about like, why the fuck y'all got that camera right there and shit, right? 'Cause we had a camera, right? And I started getting mad because they were going inside the pad and shit. I was like, we got that camera for when you motherfuckers come over here and you come like to harass us. No, I felt like I was in USA type shit, right? Like I had rights or some shit. As soon as I said that shit, man, this fool hit me in the back of the head with his glove and shit, like his fucking hand, bah, bah. I shut right the fuck up. I was like, I ain't gonna say shit no more though. And then they end up they got my uncle out first, and they got his, his aunt at the time, my tia, whatever, and shit. They got her out too and shit. Then the next thing you know, they bring out a fucking, a case, like a suitcase and shit, and then they bring out another suitcase. And no, que no, pinches cholos, no, que no traían pinches, nada, ¿verdad? And they fucking put our fucking shirts over our head and shit, and they had us against the wall, the fucking tire and shit. Hot ass tire, dog. It was during February. We got busted February 7th, 2014 and shit. They had us against the fucking tire like that with our shirt like that. That shit feels crazy and shit. You know what I mean? And my dumb ass, I don't know why I was trying to make a scene too and shit. I was like, I can't breathe and shit. This was like,
Just trying to get out of it.
yeah, or some shit. I don't know why. I mean, I was just trying to, I don't know. I'm a dumbass. But this was like, ¿cómo te quejas? Cállate el pinche hocico, si no te vamos a dejar como los que ves en las pinches noticias, en pinches mantas blancas and shit. So I shut the right the fuck up, right? Because I really ain't shit I could do, right? So, no, we got lucky because them fools, the ones that got us and shit, they're the state police and shit, la estatal and shit. In Baja California, they're called Pepos, because what it's called Policía Estatal Preventiva,
Okay.
PEP. But people call them Pepos and shit. That's the nickname and shit. You got local municipales, which is local pigs and shit. Then you got estatales, which is state pigs and shit.
Yeah.
And then federales and shit, which is fucking federal pigs. And then you got fucking like guachos and shit. You get out there, sometimes you gotta go at it with the fucking guachos and shit. You know what I mean? Like the army and shit. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to talk down on them and shit like that, but what the fuck? Why don't they fight the war somewhere else and shit? Why they got to fight their own people type shit, you know what I mean? And that's when I started learning, like when I was in there, I learned a lot about, Mexican culture and shit. Because before I used to be like, no, si la raza and all that shit, you know what I mean? Like, no, la raza, I'm always going to put my raza before anything and shit.
Yeah.
I thought I learned all that shit was bullshit, you know what I mean? Like all that shit is bullshit. Because, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm respectful and shit. I mean, when I first got there, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I was slapping fools and shit, right? I wasn't being a bully. It's just that they just came to me and shit. You know, life brought them to me type shit to fucking slap their ass and shit. One fool fucking sat next to me and shit. We're in the little reception. That was the most degrading. Like I said, that's the most degrading place, right? We're in we're in the 6-man cell with 30 fools. They didn't give us no soap. We didn't have no fucking colchon and shit, whatever, on the fucking bunkers and shit. We didn't have. When they serve our food and shit, you get some fools come, with a big ass pot, and also inmates and shit. And then we had 2 buckets in there, right? One for our main dish, and one for our, like the regular paint bucket, like those paint buckets and shit, like Home Depot and shit, regular fucking bucket and shit. Okay, how many are y'all? Not 30. Okay, pull out the buckets and shit from the cell, fucking 30 scoops, inside the bucket, right? And then that 30 scoops to the side, and 30 scoops of the fucking Kool-Aid they gave us and shit, you know what I mean? Right there, we got fed twice a day. Well, I mean 3 times. No, my bad. 3 times. Talking about fucking. Our dinner was a virote and shit at the end of, like at 4 o'clock. They call that dinner though. And fucking maicena. You know what maicena is?
Yeah. What's a virote though?
Virote is like a just a regular plain bread and shit, like a hamburger bread without the seeds and shit.
Yeah,
just virote, like you can make a torta or whatever.
Okay.
It wasn't that. It wasn't those cool. Sometimes we get those cool ones. I ain't gonna lie, yeah. But it was virote one day, or bolillo. You heard bolillo?
I know
Bolillo. Okay, well, bolillo one day and pan dulce the next day. You know what I mean? At 4 o'clock. Our first food was at 4 in the morning and shit. And right there they gave us. I stopped eating that fucking, what's it called? I stopped eating that fucking breakfast and shit because it was turning me up, dog. You know what I mean? That Montezuma Revenge or whatever the fuck. That shit's real and shit. That shit was turning me up, dog. I can't fuck with it. But I was telling fools I would just give. I had a contract with another cellmate. I'd be like, hey, forget that shit. Just save the beans and shit for me, and I would eat the beans in the afternoon. So technically, I only ate ones and shit. And yard, we only got yard once a week for 2 hours. 2 hours,
locked up with 30 foods.
Yeah, 30 foods. I mean, later on, like my first year and shit, We were 30 because they like getting caught with like a little like say like a little dose or whatever dub and shit was fucking it was a federal crime. They changed that shit to regular crime like común, delito común and shit. And that made that made our cells less congested and shit. Fools weren't coming in as often and shit, you know, for like a little fucking sack or whatever the fuck. We just had bowlers and shit not coming in. We had my set, they're getting over there.
Times, huh?
Yeah, or some shit, you know what I mean? Like fucking organized crime, fucking, because I was in the federal tier and shit, the third floor and shit. After I got from that reception or whatever. Oh yeah, back to the slapping the fools, right? Oh yeah, well, we're in the cell, and that reception area, the holding tank or whatever. And these fools are like, I don't know, some fool, like, there was some weirdo fool right there that I know he was doing some like weird shit type shit, you know what I mean? I'm like, and this fool, for some reason, he want to fucking lay down like next to me and shit type shit. I mean, right there, it's normal, you gotta lay down next to somebody, you ain't got no other choice type shit. But I didn't like the fact that he was laying down next to me and shit, and I was like, and he kind of smelled weird and shit, and I was like, fool, I'm like, have you showered? He was like, no, yeah, and he goes like this, and me cae agua and shit, I'm like, and I felt like disgusted and shit, and I fucking just got up and bam. I'm like, váyase a bañar, hijo su... You know what I mean? And fucking, the fool, I slapped him, and he fucking went across the bunks, because we had this much space and shit. We're on the top bunks and shit. Váyase a bañar, hijo su... The fool that was over there that cut him over there, he fucking slapped him too and shit. Like we also, like, it was like ping pong, like, not ping pong, but like pinball. Ding, 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 all the way to the shower, that fool went, you know what I mean? And then the second fool, because he stole, like, he was the one handing out the food, you know. And if we're 30 in the cell, right, we can't fucking, we can't all be dipping our hand in there, you know, it's nasty, right? I mean, I had, somebody had to explain, my uncle had to explain that to me, because we got busted together, that was my crime, right? I was like, I was like, why can't I just get my own shit? He's like, nah, fool, because if everybody sticks their hands and shit, like, that's nasty, you know what I mean? Like, fools be, you know what I mean, grabbing themselves and shit or whatever, you don't know where the hand's been at type shit, right? And I'm like, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. So we got one designated fool just, you know what I mean, serving us.
And we like spoons or...
Nah,
just
we,
a hand?
no, just, no, we they give us like tortillas and shit.
Yeah.
So we gotta make them motherfuckers like we gotta work over what we got and shit for one. Later on when we went upstairs and shit, like to the normal cells and shit, then yeah. But then that holy thing, that shit was like nasty. We only had 10 trays. You know what I mean? And what we're using as a scoop and shit for those 10 trays and shit was a fucking 2-liter bottle and shit. Couldn't have and shit. You know what I mean? Bam,
Yeah.
bam. You know what I mean? And well, yeah, and during the, okay, so it's one at 4 in the morning, and then another one at 12 in the afternoon. That's our main dish, our main food and shit. And the fucking birote at 4 in the afternoon, right? Well, during the birote, no, that was pan dulce day, right? One of the food that was handing out the shit and shit, right? Okay, say there's 30 people, there's gonna be 30 breads, right? If there's one bread missing, that means somebody's not gonna have food type shit, you know what I mean? And that's not that to me that's inhumane as fuck. You know what I mean? I know I'm not a saint either, but I know there's limits type shit. You know what I mean? Like I know what's right and what's wrong and shit. You know what I mean? Because I mean I didn't just fucking do shit just because and shit. If somebody fucks with me, I'm gonna fuck with them. You know what I mean? But if somebody don't fuck with me, I'm not gonna fucking pick on them and shit. I got bullied a lot, like even by the nerds and shit. I don't like that shit. You know what I mean? I don't like that. It's bad to the point I see that shit and I fucking start pressing where it's bullying people and shit, you know what I mean? Like, I press them and shit. I know it looks small and shit, right? But the eyes never lie, you know what I mean? The eyes never lie and shit. But yeah, fucking, so this full fucking tries a pocket of bread, right? And I seen him and shit. And then I get down, I'm like, fool, ¿qué trae ahí and shit? He's like, ¿qué cholo? Saca el pinche pan, lo acabo de ver acá. No, ¿cuál pinche pan, cholo? ¡Pah! You know what I mean? I'm like, saca el pinche pan. No, ya, cholo, ya. He's like that, and then... Like his fool, like I don't know, he you know he gave up his trade type shit. You know what I mean? Like, well, not his trade, but you know somebody else. I ain't gonna take his bread neither. Shit, I was like, you know, shit. You know what I mean? Just give that fool his shit. You know what I mean? What the fuck? Are you gonna leave somebody without food? You don't fucking shit. You know what I mean? And fucking, you know what I mean? It was always right for a right reason and shit. I know it wasn't on me and shit to do it and shit, and especially because I'm out there and shit. I was there. We were a lot of Sureños and shit, because a lot of fools got deported from out there. They were like. From Mexico and shit. But there were like Chicanos or whatever the fuck, cause you know they came from over here, or from LA, from all parts of over here. To the point that sometimes even fools from other cars and shit. No. I don't know if
Not no northerners or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Not no farm people, whatever, you know? Not no northerners. But when we had one bulldog and shit, that fool was cool as fuck though, you know what I mean? That fool, like, he got down with one of, like, some fool that was a sicario type shit. Like, we had a whole his squad come to the tier and shit, and that fool got down with the beefiest one and shit, right? And fucking, that fool got him and shit, you know what I mean? That bulldog and shit, that fool was cool as fuck and shit. And, you know, we told him, hey, like, during yard and shit, like, our 2 hours and shit, I was like, hey, we call that fool older and shit, you know, the homie was like, no, you know what I mean? If anything, just, you know, come with other shit, you know what I mean? The fool ain't gonna touch you and shit, because out there, it's the paisa stomping ground and shit. Paisa's from out there, you know what I mean? Stomping ground, which is a different type of paisa, you know what I mean? I don't mean it's bad and shit, you know what I mean? It's just different out there, dog. Different. Mexico was built fucking, you know, I love Mexican culture and shit, you know what I mean? I got culture on me and shit type shit, but after the Spanish came through and shit, that shit fucked up, because like the mestizo and shit, the pueblo mexicano was built off greed and shit, you know what I mean? Off greed and fucking violence and shit. That's why shit's like the way it is, the way it is right now and shit. Because when you build something off whatever the fuck you're going by, that's what it's gonna be at the end of the day. You reap what you sowed and shit, you know what I mean? And Mexico got fucked up after that, because the Aztecs, Mexicas, they didn't care about no fucking gold. The fools came out here and fucking fucked that all up. I'm going off topic, right? My bad, dog.
No, you good. Keep going.
Fucking, but yeah. What was that? Oh, yeah, the 3 years, right? So once we got set up upstairs, you know what I mean, little by little, I started thinking about shit I was doing and shit, you know what I mean? I realized I was wrong. I used to take pride in, before getting busted out, the reason I went out there, right? I was staying out, I was over here, right? It got too hot for me out here. Like I said, I embraced out here too much and shit, to the point, you know, from Pecos all the way from, you know, Pickles, Cary, Lake Mead or whatever the fuck, to Alexander and shit during the time, like 2000 or something, 2000. I don't know if I should get that specific and shit, right? But anything that went on right there and shit, like it had a lot to do with, you know what I mean? I could have had something to do with that shit, you know what I mean? You know, as far as, you know, drugs and shit like that, whatever the fuck. You know, and it got a little too hot for me, because when you're in that environment and that lifestyle and shit, there's no such thing as I'm just gonna do it a little bit and shit. Because now you're gonna get your ass in a wreck some way somehow and shit. You gotta go. You always gotta. I just learned that recently actually, after my babies were born. You know what I mean? Because you know, it's hard to do with shit with kids and shit. I can't do that shit no more. I can't fucking be fucking up and shit, risking myself and shit. Because I got kids now and shit.
How many kids you got?
I got two. I got 2 boys and shit. They're 3 and 4.
That's our babies, huh?
Yeah, they just came. They were COVID babies and shit, so it's kind of different and shit. For real, dog. Because when they were born and shit, everything was on quarantine.
Closed, yeah.
Quarantine. So now I didn't want to go nowhere with them and shit. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want them to get sick and shit. Matter of fact, when I seen that fool, when I seen my first kid and shit, I seen everything like I know lying shit. Like have you seen La Rosa de Guadalupe?
Yeah.
You know when they finally like catch on to whatever the fucking lesson you're getting and shit.
Yeah.
You see the little like the cito and shit, the fucking abanico and shit. That shit kind of happened to me. I was like, I see my baby and shit. This fool like I guess he was crying, but man, like he was turning purple and shit. And I was so amazed at something beautiful, like at something good I did and shit type shit. Like that's the only like I was like, damn man, I did that. You know what I mean? I didn't know I could do that shit. You know what I mean? To me, I put it to my head that God had me in this world to take out trash type shit from all the shit I was doing and shit, you know what I mean? And I just seen that one, and you know, I'm over here trying to hold in my tears, and the fucking doctor's like, you know, cry, we're men. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, like, you know, I'm like, yeah, dog.
When I have my kids, bro, I cried every time.
Yeah, dog. It's because it's a hell of an experience type shit. Like it's something I can't even describe it. For it's just something that touches your soul type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just touches your soul. I can't find no other words to explain it. But that's see, I'm getting the chills right now, dog. Yeah. Of how pure that shit is. You know what I mean? For real, dog. That shit's for real. You know, and I've been used to just the opposite of life. You know what I mean? You know, that shit, I got death all over me, you know what I mean? I got death all over me, dog, you know what I mean? Like that shit.
Definitely changes you, you know?
Yeah, dog, and ever since then, you know, man, I made my effort and shit, like, not to go that route and shit, you know what I mean? I can't, you know what I mean? Now I just gotta make the best out of my life and shit, cause say there is a heaven and hell and shit, you know what I mean?
There is.
I mean, yeah, there is, you know what I'm saying? So, they say they're looking for me up in heaven and shit, where the fuck am I gonna be found type shit, you know what I mean? So I gotta enjoy what I got left just in case and shit, you know what I mean? Because we're gonna be separated someday and shit, and I just gotta deal with that shit, you know what I mean? I got a lot of songs about that and shit, you know what I mean? Cause I know songs and shit, I talk about fucking violence and shit, but it's not to glorify this shit. I don't fucking glorify
It's
violence
just
at all.
experience, you know?
Not even that. It's just I want people to know like the ugly part of it. You know what I mean? Cause I can't socialize, right? Fool, I can't. You know what I mean? Like I be seeing people like ha 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 he, and it's hard for me, dog. I mean, I'll get to it and shit eventually and shit, but it's not as easy for me as other people and shit. You know what I mean? And I handle my problems differently and shit. You know what I mean? Cause I even get mad sometimes. And I even come around. How do fucking normal people fucking handle this shit? You know what I mean? Cause I don't know what the fuck to do right now and shit. You know what I mean? How do normal people handle this? You explain to me and shit, cause you're gonna be tripping on me later on shit. You know what I mean? I handle it the way, shit, man laws or whatever the fuck and shit. You know what I mean? Like, somebody disrespects me and shit, I'm not gonna take that shit. What the fuck? I mean, after I got out, 2017, I got out. That's when I started working legit for my whole life and shit. I always got bread, right? I always got buffet and shit, right? But I would spend it all, you know what I mean? Like a dumbass or whatever the fuck, because I would get it again and shit, right? But I didn't get my first legit job and shit till after I got out, you know what I mean? Which was doing construction, you know, concrete and shit, as labor and shit. And ever since then, I stuck with it, you know, and I learned the concrete and shit. And I felt like I learned it pretty fast, you know. A lot of fools will talk a good one and be like, nah, fool, you suck. And shit like that, you know, but it's that Mexican shit, you know what I mean? Like, I learned this shit in Mexico too, when I was locked up and shit. They say that we're, like, Mexicans are like a bunch of shrimp inside a bucket. Like, fucking, when one shrimp tries to come out, the other fucking shrimp comes and fucking trying to get out and fucking, you know, pulls the other one in and shit. And it's true and shit, because I've seen a lot of fucking crazy shit. I was like, why? You know what I mean? Like, why y'all hating on each other type of shit? Oh, another reason I was slapping fools around, right? At first and shit, right? Because I got to the point where I was like, man, I can't fucking slap everybody and shit. I can't be fighting all the fucking time and shit, right? My second year and shit, I'm like, man, fool, I'm getting tired of this shit. It's like, because they would call me gabacho, fool. I'll be like, gabacho, or gringo, and I'm like, ¿cuál pinche gabacho? You know what I mean? Or and I wouldn't win all the time, you know what I mean? Whatever the fucking shit. They'd be like, pinche gabacho and shit. I'm like, or no, not pinche, but they would just, and they wouldn't even say pinche. They'd be like, no, que el Pee.Wee gabacho. ¿Cuál gabacho, güey? You know what I mean? ¿Cuál pinche gabacho? No, que no, no, que es lo que debo decir acá. You know what I mean? But fucking, I got to the point where I was like, man, maybe they're not trying to disrespect me. Maybe it's their way of saying American, you know what I mean? And that's when I learned how to be tolerant a lot, you know what I mean, when I was locked up over there. It might sound like bullshit, but that shit's real, dog. I learned a lot of things about like values and shit, morals and shit, and then shit. What's right, generalizing, you know, global fucking, like just generalizing, like fucking judging somebody just, we all done it at one point and shit, you know what I mean? Like see, I call cops pigs. You know what I mean? If I could, I just can't help it. I know not all of them are bad and shit, right? Because I had one fool gave me he put 55. No, he put I was going 45 instead of 55 type of shit. So he was cool with shit.
You did say something about music, so you rap or what you do?
Oh yeah, rap. Yeah, I just started rapping and shit. I just started rapping like about a year ago and shit.
Oh yeah? How's it going?
It's going good. I feel like I can't stop even if I wanted to.
Yeah?
Shit. Yeah, I feel like it's.
You got an album out or how many songs you got?
I got about 50 songs released.
Oh wow!
On Spotify, on all platforms and shit. You know, I mean, I do.
So you've been doing a lot of work because you said a year.
A year, yeah. I guess it don't feel like much work, but it feels like it is a lot of work. Cause I even been doing even the video editing and shit. You know, I got a Vivo account too and shit, like the level or whatever, like. Like fucking what's the name? Fucking or any artist, I guess, you know what I mean? A major artist and shit. You got a Vivo account, I got a Vivo, whatever the fuck. And I shot that one myself and shit, you know what I mean? Like just by doing it, you know what I mean? Just by doing it, editing all that shit. My little brother helped me. He's 10 years old and shit.
And he helped you?
Yeah, dog, he helped me and shit. You know, get certain takes and shit or whatever the fuck, but. No, I stick the tripod out of the car and shit, make it driving. I learned some shit, but it takes time. All that shit takes time.
And it's not easy.
Nah, dog, it's not. It's not, cause even the lights, all that shit, dog, all that shit. Sometimes I came out of fucking toasty color and shit. I'm like, nah, that ain't it, dog. You know, but yeah, dog. I started just rapping off beats or whatever. You know what I mean? Actually, the first time I the first song I did was shit. I did a song off the fucking Wiggy 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 beat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was kind of jacking the beat and shit. I still do.
That's SPM, right?
Yeah, SPM and shit. So I like that beat's cool. That beat's tight and shit. But you know what I mean? I made that song. And I did it because I was in a dark place, you know what I mean? I was going through shit, you know what I mean? I was feeling like I fucked myself up and shit, you know what I mean? Because, you know, I'm proud of my kids. That's the shit I'm proud of, you know what I mean? Being a father type shit, you know what I mean? And I feel like I've been there for them type shit, you know what I mean? But it started feeling like the more you're there and shit, the more that shit gets used against you too type shit, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to fucking, you know what I mean, talk shit about anybody and shit or whatever for like, you know what I mean? Like, Lord knows I don't type shit, you know what I mean? I'm not, like, that ain't me and shit type shit. I just talk what it is type shit, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, and from my experience, like she wasn't supposed to go that way type shit, you know what I mean? Especially if you're there for them type shit. Because when I was growing up, I would hear about fucking that be this, that be that, you know what I mean? That be that, that be that. To a point now I can't, I lost all my anger towards my dad type shit. Because that fool's been there for me and shit. More than I even know and shit type shit. You know what I mean? When I was locked up, he came visit me three times a year and shit. He stayed a few blocks away, but he visited me type shit. My mom visited, she only visited me once. Like, but it's all good. I don't want to go through all the search and shit. And plus, I'm in a different country type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely.
I ain't tripping and shit, but still, it's like after I got out, this fool gave me a car. On my mom's side and my stepdad, man, every fucking car that I got in from them, they sold it to me type shit. You know, I gotta buy this one, I gotta buy that type. You know, all the other brothers and shit. Here you go, here you go, here you go. But I'm the fuck up, so I gotta fucking. My stepdad does concrete too and shit, so it's kind of like tension and that shit type shit too and shit. You know what I mean? But I know I got a lot of love and respect for him and shit. You know what I mean? Regardless of whatever and shit. Now that I'm older and shit. At first I was like, man, fuck that. You know what I mean? I'm just getting the man in the house. I'm gonna get the man in the house, but I got a lot of love. You took care of my...
just the older we get, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you mature and shit, and you realize the key points, the good key points and shit. He's taking care of my brother and sister like theirs is. I got nothing bad to say about him and shit, except whatever me and him got going as man type shit. Because at the end of the day, we go man and shit, and we're both do the same thing and shit. That's another thing too, man. How come? Oh my god, it's all good. My other brother, my blood brother or whatever that comes from my dad and my mom type shit. That fool plays the guitar and shit. He's a musician too. Like he's my dad's teacher right here in 28th and shit. That fool. But yeah, he gets down and shit. He gets down. I mean, yeah, he started playing the guitar and shit when he was like 13 and shit.
So you guys be jamming out together?
Nah, that fool a little. I just
yeah.
I don't know. Not cause I mean one thing for sure and shit I get down on the lyrics and shit. I mean in order for me to come up with like 2-3 songs a day and shit, you know what I mean?
Oh wow.
Yeah, like I
put in work.
I'm sorry.
Putting in work.
Yeah, dog. Even when I don't like, even if I don't try, dog, like it just comes and shit. You know what I mean? Like I never. People say that Tupac did this and Tupac did that. Like 3 songs a day, man. Shit, your ass. Man, you know, how's somebody got 3 songs in a day?
Exactly.
Man, I didn't believe that shit until I started doing that shit. You know what I mean?
Do you have an Instagram or YouTube that people could check you out at?
Instagram's how am I spelling? Oh, at big_Pee.Wee whatever. And
that's for IG, right?
For IG, yeah. IG.
And your YouTube?
YouTube is Big Pee.Wee official, Big Pee.Wee official, or Big Pee.Wee Vevo. Vevo. You know what I mean? And Big Pee.Wee just as Big BIG space P. You know what I mean? P and then .we, because I didn't want to put the P like P like piss. You know what I mean?
Right. But you guys heard that though. You guys make sure you guys follow my boy Pee.Wee. Check out his IG, his YouTube. He has some badass music, and you have a lot more coming, right? A lot more music coming.
I got songs on me. I'll be real. It takes me a minute to remember, like, oh, I got this song, or hey, you know what I mean? I got a lot of release music, you know what I mean? Not just just gangster rap or whatever, you know what I mean? I try to go far beyond that, you know what I mean? Because that's not all I am and shit. I mean, there's a lot of. Or or it's not even just the message I want to give out there and shit. I just do music in general. And
That's
shit,
right.
You know what I mean, just music in general. It gets us out of it. Got me out of that dark place and shit. I uploaded that first song and shit. What was it called? Oh, I don't even think it had a Big 1-8 or some shit like that.
You still have it on there?
I got it on BandLab still and shit.
Yeah.
No, I never released that one officially on like a Spotify and shit. Like I never distributed that one. But I have it on vinyl. I still got it and shit. It sounds way different. Cause now I ain't trying to sound like I'm the shit and shit like that. And I mean I'm just as like everybody else. Everybody has the same capability or whatever the fucking shit. But I do pretty decent in my production and shit.
Exactly.
I do everything from ground up and shit. I even fuck with the beats now and shit.
See, there you go. But you know, we all gotta start somewhere. You know, maybe our first stuff won't be as good.
Yeah.
But over the years, you know, we learn something, we pick up something new. You know,
you get more experience.
Exactly.
And shit, more knowledge and shit. You know what I mean? But it always starts with just trying it and shit. If you don't try it, you ain't gonna know.
And then, exactly, and then plus you don't have nobody to teach you. Nobody taught me. You know, so we learn by ourselves.
Yeah, that's another. And it takes time and shit like this. And then we got family, and then we got work, and then we got all this shit, dog. It's shit. I feel it now. Dog. That's no joke. And then the marketing part. That's a big one too and shit, you know what I mean? Like the marketing, that's you can't focus too much on making the song and shit, because what about the marketing? And you can't focus too much about the marketing, because when are you gonna get new shit out, you know what I mean? Or the video shit, where it's at or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like all that fucking, and then the bills are coming and shit, it's just hard, dog, it's hard. But I try to keep it more as a hobby and shit. My main thing is the concrete shit, right? But the other shit is just, I don't know, it's not even a hobby, it's way beyond that, honestly. It's just something like, I don't know, it's just something that maybe I was meant here to do and shit. I just didn't figure it out till I was 30, what the fuck, you know? I didn't start rapping till I was 30 type shit, you know, and it's crazy. There's a lot of younger fools and shit, you know what I mean? They got a different type of rap too and shit, you know what I mean? And to me it's like, that's rap, you know? But at the same time, it's, you know, it's...
Yeah, it's like so many different styles.
I fucks with it too and shit, but it's just different and shit, you know what I mean? I ain't saying I'm going back to fucking Snoop and all that, I mean, it's shit. They all got a song I like and I don't, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just like I got songs that people are gonna like, and there's some songs that you don't like, like, that ain't it, fool. I mean, I had fools tell me that shit. You know which one? I got like fucking 3 fades coming out and shit, you know what I mean? Cause yeah, like this ain't it. I was like, fool, this is a fucking love song. Why you commenting on this shit? You know what I mean? What the fuck?
Alright, they liked it.
Yeah, dog, I'm like, oh, now they're trying to talk shit on them. Like, fool, like, what? Like, why you even listen to the song and shit? You know what I mean? If you hear the fucking melody of it, you know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Or you know what I'm talking about, I don't know, but I was gonna say, about a female, you know what I mean? Or whatever the fucking shit. Like, why do you even fucking, that has nothing to do with you, why you gonna play that shit? You know what I mean? To begin with, shit. You're weird over that. Sorry.
No, you good, bro. You're all good, but yeah, bro, thank you, Pee-Wee.
Thank you.
Thank you for stopping by and
tell me get a lot of, you know what I mean, like a lot out too and shit. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
So some things I've never told people, like, you know what I mean, and now it's just coming out, like there's no, like I don't know where shit, like that's just crazy.
Yeah, bro. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Deuces.
I don't know whatever.